Okay. This is a bumpy section of the road right here. Oh man, this is awesome. I really want to take this to a racetrack. This is so cool.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Intermediate Bike Giveaway. Got it right the first time because I've been paying attention today. And today we are doing a living with on the ZX6R right here. How good is a 600 as a daily rider street bike? It's probably really bad, right? Well, stay tuned and let's find out. Alright, so last time it was the Tuono on the chopping block. This time it is the ZX6R. And if you guys remember, I wasn't loving the Tuono because it was too extreme. Well, certainly a race bike with lights would be too extreme for the street, right? Well, sorta. The thing about the ZX6R that I've been noticing as we've had it longer and longer is that it's a pretty streetable package once you look past some of the crazy ergonomics and stuff. So we're gonna see how it breaks down both as a commuter, weekend daily rider, all of that good stuff, and kind of give you an idea of what it's like if you decide to live with a ZX6R in your driveway for some reason, and it isn't your track bike. But all that being said, let's get this motorcycle out on the road for a nice commuting section, see how it does on the highway and in traffic.
All right, folks, we're wrapping up the Tuono giveaway. This is it. These are the last couple of days you can enter to win. April 22nd is the very last day we'll be running this sweepstakes. And right now you can use the code TUONO4X over on shop.yamanoob.co to make sure that you get 4X entries for every dollar you spend over on the store. You can get merch, a t-shirt, hats, gear, parts, tires. We have all kinds of great stuff over there. Helmets as well, riding gear. Hit the link down below. Go to shop.yamanoob.co. Use the code TUONO4X. Get yourself 4X entries to win this motorcycle. You're not going to want to miss it.
And just like that, welcome to your commute on the ZX6R. This seems laughable to me, the idea of commuting on a 600, but I actually know some people that are just straight up 600 boys that do ride these bikes all the time. And, you know, in short bursts, oh yeah, absolutely, I would ride this in, you know, my commute to the shop is about 10 minutes if it's a lot of traffic. I would 100% be able to commute on this motorcycle comfortably given how long mine is. But it is worth pointing out, while you're commuting on this motorcycle, that, man, these ergos, that's the first thing that I come back to. It's not super comfortable. And you're gonna hear me say that a whole lot throughout this video. But it's not the worst that I've felt on a 600. It's absolutely not. I think the R6 was more aggressive. I think that, you know, something like Yam's Daytona, way more aggressive. I haven't swung a leg over a Gixxer, but the CBR 600 is pretty, you know, it's pretty bog standard 600 territory. This one really does stand out in my brain as the most streetable 600. And if you're gonna commute on a 600, if you have to live that life, sure, yeah, I guess you could make the case for the 636. The more you meet this motorcycle on its terms, in terms of your riding position, the more comfortable it is for longer. So what do I mean by that? I mean by you gotta be toes on pegs, like you're riding around at the track, as far back in the seat as you can get, leaned over with your core engaged. You know, you basically want to ride around like this all the time. And if you're riding around like this, you know, it's not that uncomfortable. Assuming you don't need to do it for more than like a half hour. Oh no. I know there's a cop back there, so I'm not going to speed away, but I kind of want to. I mean, that's a pretty decent roll-on power in 5th gear down in the rev range. So there, passing power. 636 has it. But, you know, let's, yeah, okay. You know, there is something to be said for goofing around on a 600 on the street because you can actually wind out a couple of gears. So, you know, the last one I did on this was on the 200, and you can't have fun with that motorcycle basically anywhere. It just has too much power. 600s and inline 4s generally, they have this just mellow character to them when you're just sort of cruising down low in the revs. It doesn't sound mellow because we have a straight pipe on here. You know, it's loudly singing the Monster Energy song of its people, and it is starting to irritate me a little bit, just sort of droning away underneath me. But, you know, it's not that bad. Honestly, it's kind of fun as a commuter. If your commute is short, it's kind of fun because you can pull onto highways really fast and wind it out a couple of gears and see the lights on your dashboard going. And yeah, you are speeding. Let's be real. It's not like you're winding out a 300 through 3 gears. You are going to be breaking some rules, but that's more like you get a ticket, not like you're going to go to jail. You know, I could get with this, honestly, which I was not anticipating. And now we reach the bane of the 600, stop and go traffic. This is where it sucks. Oh my God. I've been waiting here for 2 or 3 cycles. The bike's already at 190 degrees, 198, because I'm not moving. My weight's all on my body. It's all on my wrist. It's all on my core. It's all on my toes. I'm struggling to look up, to look forward. Man, if your commute is in the city, do not get this as a commuter motorcycle. It sucks when you're just waiting. Like it's already hot. No, this is about the worst city commuter I could possibly think of. I mean, maybe you could do something about it, get a more comfy seat, you know, figure out if you can raise the clip-ons. I don't even know if that's possible. But honestly, as much as it pains me, if you want the Ninja styling and you're largely a city commuter, no, just get the Ninja 650. That bike has a horrific engine in it, but it's actually comfortable to sit on. In stop and go traffic, this is abysmal. It's really kind of a dual-natured motorcycle. It's real fun if you can have fun, but if you can't have fun, it sucks. It really sucks. I figured I'd just add this in before we get back to the shop. So now let's get in there and check out my favorite and least favorite things. Because, yeah, I like this motorcycle. It's a lot of fun, but it's got some problems.
So normally I like to start out these favorite and least favorite segments, the pros and cons segments, if you will, with a pro, but today I gotta talk about a con first. I don't like the way this motorcycle looks. I think these graphics are a little overly aggressive. It's too lime green. It's too much assault on the eyeballs. It doesn't do it for me. There are some times when I think an aggressive graphics setup is pretty cool, but I don't know. I would prefer this actually in the flat orange and black colorway, an all white colorway. I do get the team green situation going on here, but I don't know. This colorway it's not doing it for me. But something that is doing it for me, My God, the handling on this motorcycle is unbelievable, guys. Normally, I don't talk about that kind of stuff, but I don't know, something's changed with me in recent days. Probably that whole champ school thing, and now I actually know how to ride a motorcycle like this, but the handling is next level. It is superb on this bike. It's probably down to the combination of the fact that Yam set the suspension when he went out and did his track day, and it is now on these massively aggressive RS10s, which they just feel so good. Oh my God, it feels so good. On the side of the tire, this bike is phenomenal. Unfortunately, you don't spend a lot of time on the side of the tire when you're on the street, which leads me to my next negative, and that is the ergonomics on this motorcycle. For what they are, they make perfect sense. But for a street riding bike, man, they're aggressive. They're not as bad as something like the R6. I mentioned this in the commuting section, but this still hurts to ride in a straight line for more than like 45 minutes. The ergonomics are a lot to get over. But this motorcycle's not meant to be ridden for a long time. It's meant to be ridden at speed, short sessions. So that's just something you gotta know if you're gonna decide to ride this on the daily. Another thing that's a bit of a bummer is when you're sitting upright on the bike because you're cruising with one hand on the tank trying to be like, oh God, I want this straight highway to stop. The wind protection doesn't really do anything for you. It's not meant to, but we're talking about it as a street bike today, guys, which the more I talk about it like this, the more absurd it seems. Now, another thing that I really like on this bike is the engine and the way that it's set up. Unlike a lot of 600s, this thing has a very good mid-range. I think it's down to that extra 36 cubes that this thing has, 37 if you consider 599 the actual displacement, not 600. But it's got more cubes, more mid-range, and this bike is actually really streetable as a result. I could see some people changing the sprockets on it a little bit, but honestly, the way it's set up, and it is worth pointing out that this motorcycle has been flashed, it rides great on the street. It's wild to think. There's so much of like where it's awesome, but it sucks. But then the engine's great, but the ergonomics are terrible, but the handling's phenomenal, but the wind protection, because the ergonomics suck. It's one of these weird situations where the more I think about it, the more I love it and loathe it at the same time, because I haven't ridden it on track. I think that if I rode it on track, it would all just be, sunshine and rainbows. Other than that, I mean, it's basically just a 600. There's not a whole lot to write home about. It is pretty playful. It's got a lot of character thanks to those extra cubes, but let's get this thing out on the road and see how it handles a twisty road. I think it's gonna do pretty good. If you're gonna commute on a ZX6R, you're gonna need some music to pump yourself up so you don't feel those horrific ergonomics getting to you all the way to the office. Maybe you're a swole boy and want to listen to some Five Finger Death Punch, or maybe you're a sad boy listening to Billie Eilish. Either way, you can't be having that blaring for the whole world to hear from some handlebar speaker. First of all, where are you gonna store your spare Monster energy drink that you packed yourself instead of a lunch? Secondly, adding a speaker to your bike is gonna add a bunch of weight. You just spent all weekend removing all the crap you don't need, like mirrors, blinkers, and your girlfriend. You don't want to waste all that weight savings. Instead, you should just get yourself a Cardo. They're the #1 motorcycle comm system with years of experience under their belt. They've recently upgraded to the new PackTalk Edge with DMC2 boasting quicker pair times, longer range, and better quality so you can communicate with your fellow Kyles and listen to your theme tune in nice, crispy, clear quality. But if you're riding alone or you just want to save some cash, grab the Spirit, which has all the features you need and nothing you don't at a cheaper price. Click that link down below and get yourself a Cardo on the cheap. From me to you. You're welcome.
Alrighty guys, it is time now for the 636. First is Cow Creek. This is the same spot that I took the Tuono out to, because this is one of my favorite Saturday riding roads. I love coming out here and just bombing down this, beat up little twisty road. It's a ton of fun. Now, the first thing I'm gonna say here is I have a completely newfound appreciation for this motorcycle. So, as many of you probably know at this point, I did Yamaha's Champ School. It was 2 days on track with instructors showing you how to ride a motorcycle like this, the way it's meant to be ridden. And the main takeaway that I have from that, aside from A, it was a ton of fun, B, I want to go back to the track, But see, it's this motorcycle, you cannot even approach its potential on the street. My God, is this thing so much more capable than I am. It has so much potential on the side of the tire, and it feels freaking great, man. Oh my God. On a twisty road, this is unreal. It's so much fun. I would love the opportunity to take this back out to Crescent, which was the track that I ran the champ school at. It's a track I'm really familiar with now. I would love the opportunity to take this out there and experience it in its element. I bet I can't even, you know, I wouldn't go, you know, much faster than I was on the R7. But, I mean, that's what a 600's meant for, man. And holy cow, does this feel good. It honestly, like, if you're just a weekend warrior on a 600, dude, just take it to the track, man, honestly. But that's not what this is about. This is about this is your daily rider, your living with motorcycle, the one that you've got in the garage. How does it feel on a twisty road? Oh, it's superlative. It's amazing. I'm having a ton of fun on this motorcycle. I really am. In a way that I wasn't expecting to, you know? Sure, you can't even approach what this motorcycle has to offer. 100%. But you can still party with this bike quite a bit. You know? It's so confidence inspiring. My God. I completely understand how somebody could get themselves into big trouble on a bike like this on the street, because it wants to do this. It's all it wants to do. It wants to go around a corner, and it wants to go fast. It wants you to brake hard. It's fun, man. Although, not brake hard, lighter, longer, guys. Lighter, longer. That's how you're supposed to brake. Oh, this thing, it feels so good, and I'm willing to look past how stiff this freaking suspension is over these bumps. But, you know, it's not as stiff as the Tuono's was. You know, I'm really enjoying my run down this twisty road on this motorcycle. This would be a phenomenal weekend toy, you know? I mean, obviously it'd be better on the track, and it would make Yam sad. This is a bumpy section of the road right here. But, yeah, it would make Yam sad if you were to just goof around with this on the street. But, dude, it's a street toy? Hell yeah! This is putting a big ol' smile on my face. And I'm not sure if it's because it's the tune, if it's because I have more seat time around, like I know how to ride a sport bike now, or what, but I don't know. It's just, it's fun. It's really fun. And you know, I'm appreciating the extra displacement because there's actually good mid-range on this motorcycle. You'll notice I'm not screaming it off the top end. I'm just kind of going at a nice, comfortable, spirited pace through this road. And, you know, it's well within my limits. I'm well within this motorcycle's limits. And I'm just cruising, having a good time. If you want to push the limits on this bike, sure, absolutely, you take it to the track. But if you just want to goof around on a twisty road on the weekend, sure, this is a ton of fun. This is more fun than a lot of the other bikes that I've done living with recently. I can play into this corner here just a little bit so I can see all the way through it. Oh man. Now, with a very glowing twisty road segment, I think that is going to wrap this section up. Let's bring it back into the shop and answer some Discord questions, because I always like to see if the boys on the Discord have anything that I can sort out for them, because who knows, maybe they'll be getting this motorcycle sitting in front of their garage door one of these days, or I suppose you too, if you're watching out this and you sign up for free. Again, links in the description. You could have as much fun as I'm having. Let's get this thing back in the shop.
All right, so Discord Q&A time. Unfortunately, the Discord boys got a little bit more memey with this one. I think it's the bike's energy, but generally there's a lot of memes that they submitted and a lot of questions about the ergonomics. So we're gonna dive right in with the best of the not super silly questions. So starting out with Butter Carl, good username. How's the ergos for a big guy on the ZX6R? Honestly, after ripping around the R7, I think that the ZX6R fits a lot better. I wonder if it's just because I was used to riding that around in my race suit and it just felt, I don't know, it felt smaller for some reason, but the ZX6R definitely feels like it fits me pretty darn well, which is nice. Next up, we got Biscotti, not Ducati, Breva 750. Why is the Honda CBR 600 so much better? It's just not. In just about every way, it's just not. Yeah, no, definitely this over the Honda. Otter Plus, this might be a better fit for a Versus video, but considering they're both ridiculously OP for street use, ZX6R or Gixxer 750. Honestly, I've just turned into a giant squid with this video, but this feels like a great amount of power for the street. It's definitely a lot. It's a lot. You can't ring it all the way out to redline through like 3 or 4 gears without going, you know, triple digit speeds. But because it has the mid-range punch on this bike, it's pretty good. And I don't really see myself needing a lot more power. So without having ridden the Gixxer 750, I think ZX6R. But that could change if I rode them both. See what I mean about the memes here. Full Metal Corgi. What's better for a daily, Turbo Busa or ZX6R? Which would win around a racetrack? Obviously, around a racetrack, ZX6R. But like I said, turning into a giant squid, the Turbo Busa is a better daily. It's just more comfortable. Whether or not it's more reliable, that's to be determined. This is actually a really bulletproof motor in here. And the Busa, it's great when it works. Next up, we got A13, ZX6R versus R6. We did a whole video on this, I believe. And for me, ZX6R. The R6 is cool. It's got a lot of cachet around it, but it's so much a top line. You have to be revving it all the way to the moon. The ZX6R it feels more potent in the mid-range, and because I'm not, you know, a super fast boy track rider, the R6 just leaves you a little bit wanting. This has so much more mid-range, which is really good. Okay, this one's a little bit odd. Quips and Guac. If you're gonna choose a daily between a ZX6R or a giant bagger, which would you prefer? Does the smaller size make for a better ride even though the torque doesn't exist until higher in the power bands? So that's really, we're really comparing apples to oranges here, but it depends on what I'm doing. For my commute and the way that I ride on the daily, sure, I'll take this over a bagger because I'm not going that far. But if I'm going far, I'd rather have the bagger. So, and again, he asked about the power band. A lot of mid-range on this. I know I keep saying that, but it's not really all at the very tippy top. There's a ton of power at the top, but there's also a lot of torque in the middle here, which is nice. Biscotti Boy 620, on a scale of wearing pit vipers to punching a hole in drywall, how much Kyle energy do you receive when riding this to work? A lot! Oh my God. I was riding this thing around today and there's a lot of speeding happening. This is a really fun motorcycle. A lot of squid energy comes out when you ride this bike. I guess it's just the 600 life. Infernal Saxon, how well does the ZX6R handle bumps on bad roads? Well, you'll see, actually you saw it in the Twisty Road segment that came just before this. It handles the bumps pretty good. It's not as bad as the Tuono, but it's still really stiff and there's not a lot of cushion in that seat. So, I would still probably want something with a little bit more travel like my Supermoto if I live in a place where roads are really crappy. Two-wheeled capo, if you had a life-altering event and decided to become a track rat, how likely would you be to get a ZX6 over any other 600-ish sized sport bike? Also, what bike in the class do you prefer the most? Well, my experience in the 600 class is limited to the R6, like a little bit on a CBR 600RR that one of my buddies had, and this bike. And of the three, definitely this motorcycle. I would have to try an RS 660 again. I don't know, if I was gonna be an out-and-out track rat, this all day long. I guess it also comes down to price, but I don't know. This is just such a good package, and you get so much with it. It's got a little bit of technology in there. The power modes is like whatever, but the traction control is nice. So, I don't know. There's a lot going for the 636, and yeah, I'd probably get this one. So that is going to round out the Discord Q&A for today. We're going to get this bike back out on the road, get some final thoughts in place.
So to start wrapping my thoughts up on this motorcycle here, this is one that honestly I was not expecting. I really wasn't expecting to enjoy my time with this motorcycle nearly as much as I am. Initially, I was very lukewarm on this bike, and yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I just spent 2 days out on track, goofing around and really learning what these bikes are all about, because I can sorta maybe see the potential of this motorcycle. It's still so far beyond what I can touch, but you know, I'm out here playing around with this bike and really having fun. I'm really having a lot of fun with this. Now, let's assume for a moment that this is your only motorcycle, because a lot of folks, when they're you know, starting out or they're younger, they can't afford to run two bikes like I have. I've got my SMCR and my KLR. So let's assume the 636 is your only motorcycle. As a commuter, as long as it's just on the highway, yeah, okay, I can make the case. But two-up riding, no. City riding, no. Traffic, no. It's not fun. It's hot, it's cramped. You really can't, it's really not what this bike was meant for. And with this one more so than a lot of other ones, you gotta use it in, you at least gotta be going sort of fast on it, which is part of the problem, because as much fun as I'm having goofing around through these hills, guys, I'm going faster than I normally would. I feel confident doing it. I feel like I'm well within my range, but whew, I will come clean here. This is faster than I would normally ride. I just don't normally ride bikes this quick, and you know, I think that this is just working its black magic on me. It's 600 boy magic, because I just want to go faster. But there are some realities of street riding, you know? Maybe you can goose it all the way out through 3 gears, but you immediately have to come back down like this. It's tough, because I could see this being a really fun motorcycle to just have as a street bike. It's so streetable, and I'm just having a great time on it. But I also see the race bike that's underneath here, you know. Yeah, it's got the extra displacement, which helps, but the ergonomics package sucks for the street. It really sucks, guys. I'm excusing it, again, because it's putting such a big smile on my face, but if this is your only street bike, it's tough to make the case. It really is. I would put this in my garage next to my Supermoto, next to my KLR. I'd probably get rid of the KLR at that point. I just use the Supermoto. I don't know, it's just, it feels like a great second motorcycle to put next to something that's quote-unquote practical. Because absolutely, I would commute on this motorcycle given the commute that I have and the job that I do. Well, it is a job. I work pretty hard to give you guys the content that you love so much, but if I was just a normie, you know, I didn't really like doing track days. I didn't want to pay for the track days. I didn't want to pay for the insurance premium. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want. There's a lot of excuses that you need to make if you're going to start riding this thing on the street. Let's just put it that way. But whee, this bike is a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. I would go buy one of these. Yeah, I'd go buy one, 100%. I think that's the best. I think that's the best I can say for this motorcycle is that I'd go buy one. Normally I would do my arbitrary numbers here, but this is just like 11 Monster Energy drinks out of, you know, 5 Red Bulls. I really, really am having a great time with this bike, and I'm gonna be sad when it's gone. I don't want to put it back in the garage. I don't. I want one. I want one so bad. Okay, all right, guys. I gotta wrap this up or I'm gonna go on forever. So, obviously 636, big hit for me, big surprise hit. And remember, if you want to get entered to win this is our intermediate bike giveaway. Click that link down below, go to yammynoob.co, get yourself signed up. As little as $5 a month gets you entered, and you'll get 10% off gear on shop.yammynoob.co. You'll get 10% off Twisted Road rentals. You'll get $300 off a motorcycle if you decide to buy one with Eurocycle. There's a ton of great perks, not including just the Discord server, which is freaking awesome. So check all that stuff out down below, get yourself entered to win, and I'm gonna go put a few more miles down on this motorcycle, guys. I'm having a ball with the 636. I'll catch you guys in the next episode of Yammy Noob.